Your most painful emotions are actually your inner children. So the question is, how are you going to treat those inner children? Are you going to ignore them? Are you going to abuse them again? Or are you going to love them? The thing is, when people have emotions that they consider to be negative, the first thing that people want to do is make that emotion stop. They don't want to feel it. And think of it as if you had a crying baby and your reaction to the baby crying was to cover its mouth and practically suffocate it so you don't have to hear crying. When you understand that that's what you're actually doing to yourself, then you understand that there is an opportunity to change that. Emotional healing is about healing those inner children. And it's really important when an emotion comes up to understand that that is that inner child. Now, when I say many inner children, a lot of people talk about your inner child. I prefer to think of them as inner children. The way that I look at it is that in your childhood, you had many, many times, probably, if you're like most of us, where emotions came up that were so powerful that you kind of split off from the emotion, right? You avoided your own emotions. So the child, psychologically, energetically, kind of split into two in that moment. Think of it as like you were a little kid and you were sitting on your bed crying. And you couldn't take it anymore. So you, the part I'm talking to, left the room, kind of split off from that kid and left that kid in the room crying. You didn't process the emotion at the time through no fault of your own. You didn't know any of this stuff at that age, and it was overwhelming. But now, every time you feel one of those feelings, it's actually an opportunity to heal that child. And actually, to bring that child back into your energy, to reunite with it, to heal the split. And every time you do the same thing and avoid an emotion all over again, you perpetuate the split. You might even make it worse. So instead of avoiding all of your emotions, here's a little thing that you can do. And I urge you to follow along with me if you're not driving or operating heavy machinery or doing something important like that. Close your eyes. Close your eyes, and I want you to see that child. And you can imagine any age. You can imagine any emotion. See that you sitting on the bed, crying. And now, see yourself going into that room and saying hi to that kid. And notice how that kid reacts to your presence. Because somewhere deep down, that kid knows who you are. And you can say something like, Do you know who I am? Can you guess who I am? I'm you. And I've grown up now. But I realize I did something really mean. When you were having these feelings, I couldn't handle it, and I ran away from you, and I abandoned you here in this room. And I'm really, really sorry. And I want to take you with me if you want to go. Ask the child for permission to sit down next to him. And just talk the child through this. That you couldn't handle these feelings. Now, if the child doesn't want you to sit down next to him, don't. Respect the child. If the child doesn't want to deal with anything you're saying, respect it. You can come back to it later. But explain to the child that you are really sorry. And you can even tell the child things like, things that would be impressive to a child, like, I can drive a car all by myself. I have my own apartment. I want you to come and live with me there, whatever. And when the child agrees, yeah, I want to come with you, have the child, that little version of you, sit on your lap in your imagination. Put your arms around the child and absorb that child into your body. Just see it kind of being absorbed in. And now feel the energy of that child in your body. The child will explore your body because it's different than theirs. You know, you have certain attributes maybe that didn't exist back then that are interesting. And the child will bring some life force energy that you've been missing ever since you split off. And then notice, after a couple of minutes, how old is the child now? If the child started at 4 years old, you might notice by now the child's 12 or 19. And you'll kind of know. It's fun. And feel that energy in there. And breathe and relax. And let it integrate over time. It won't take that long. Because the thing is, you've never really been split. You just had a little walled off part of your energy that affected you all the time, but you kept telling it to shut up. If you do this exercise many, many times, it might take over 100. You will slowly integrate your traumatized inner children. And they won't be so traumatized because they won't be rejected and abandoned by you anymore. And you will find yourself possessing more youthful energy, more enthusiasm, more playfulness, and all of those things that when you literally did throw that baby out with the bathwater, you know, you're going to get that beautiful baby energy back. And this is just one path to emotional healing that I like to bring people through. Now, if you would like a more extended version of this visualization as a video, put it in the comments, and if I get enough comments requesting it, I will do that. This was just to kind of give you the tools that you could imagine it so you can walk yourself through it over and over. But if there's enough interest, I'd be glad to do that. Anyway, I'm Andy Sway. I do healing, I do past life regression, energy clearing, and basically what I do here in Los Angeles is help people deeply transform first their inner life and then their outer life. Thanks so much for watching. If you want more information, go to andysway.com. ANDYSWAY.com. Thanks a lot.